Being a quintessential 90s actor to Lord Bobby, as you are now called, how are you handling being a part of pop culture?
We still live in a joint family, and there were people always outside my house. There's a big age group difference because he's the eldest in my family and I'm the youngest. It took a long time for me to get close to him in that sense of being a friend with him.
You've also mentioned that you had a little bit of distance with your father.
My dad wasn't strict, but he was never a friend while growing up. He was very busy, he was always at work. There would be these 6 people around him, making him believe that he lived, he's larger than life. एक लड़की आई थी, प्रीति जिंटा. I said, क्या? Preeti Zinta. Though Dil Se was her first film which released, but this was the first film she signed. Great fun working with Rani. Started calling her Date Footiya.
You spoke about, this period and alcoholism on Coffee with Karan when you were recently there.
I was into self-pity and I started giving up. I started becoming self-destructive. Am I going to inspire my kids if I'm going to be this way? Something snapped in me and I was just trying to do my best. Manifesting, I feel, gives you the strength. You move towards what you want. The new generation didn't know of Bobby Deol. Salman is like one of the nicest persons I know in this industry. Then one day out of the blue, he just called and said, will you remove your shirt? So I knew if I do a film with Salman, a lot of people will again notice this person called Bobby Deol. She said, Prakash wants to meet you. And he says, I want you to play the Baba. I'm like, what? I mean, I get a message from Sandeep Reddy Vanga saying, hi, I'm Sandeep Reddy Vanga. I want to meet you for a film. He showed me a picture. He said, I want you because I love this expression of yours.
What was the set like with Ranbir Kapoor?
Oh, he's amazing. And I've seen him since he was a kid. He's such a huge star and he's so down to earth. Suddenly comes and says, okay, now you punch. Bobby punches Ranbir and he falls on top of his back. He lights a cigarette.
Yeah.
He thought of it. All of a sudden on location. You don't want to lose this feeling. You don't want to lose all this. And so it becomes even more special because this is what you've been waiting for all your life. Excited to work with Surya. I'm a big fan of his.
Is Soldier 2 on the cards? Welcome to Humans of Bombay, and thank you so much for doing this. From being a quintessential 90s actor to Lord Bobby, as you are now called, how are you handling being a part of pop culture?
I don't know. I mean, I've been here and the surrounding keeps changing, the environment, it's just, things keep changing, but I've been here for so many years and changes are meant to happen, for good or bad. And I guess I'm lucky that I'm still here in this industry. With all the changes that have happened.
Yeah, and as relevant as ever.
Yeah, well, I guess, as I said, you work hard and you can sustain and, be focused in life and everything just falls in place.
Yeah. Do you see some of the stuff? The memes or the...
Yeah, I've been seeing them. I mean, now, in the beginning, I was like a little amused by them, but now it's become a part of life. So it's nice to be a part of the meme culture and all that because, I mean, it just shows how interesting you are to people.
So let's talk a little bit about your childhood. I mean, it's been spoken about and you've spoken about it, but just any memories that stand out for you, especially because...
I guess I was the youngest in my family and we all lived in a joint family. We still live in a joint family. And at that point when I was born, I think a lot of my cousins, my buas, everybody was in the house. So it used to be a full house and I just loved that environment. I just loved so many people in the house. I was never alone. And that's why, for me, being alone when I started work was a little difficult because I was so used to having my family always with me. So it was fun. I mean, we have a big house thanks to my dad. Sundays, there was a movie that played. And that was the biggest highlight of the week, that one Sunday would be when the whole family sits together and watches a movie on television, So that's how I grew up. Every time any relative or any guest came to the house, I was a chubby kid and they would pull my cheek and they said, "Tu to hero banega." So for me, it was like, "Ha, main hero banunga." Didn't know what it meant at that point. And then slowly I started realizing that for me, my dad was larger than life even before I realized he was in movies. For me, he was my everything and he still is. And never could differentiate him from that and being an actor in the cinemas and being so loved. Because for me, I always loved him so much. And I always believed that people would always love him because the kind of person he was, the kind of person he is, the biggest heart. and giving, caring, you know. So it was just amazing. I was so blessed that I was born in this family. You know, my mom, who's been my strength, and there were people always outside my house. Those days were very simple. You know, it was
Yeah.
like there was nothing, nobody had an ulterior motive. They were just excited to come to the Deol house and see my dad. And then there would be so many people. I remember coming back from school and I would just walk into a house full of unknown people,
Yeah.
you know. So it's been like that growing up in this house.
And what about with your brother? What were some of your
Well,
fondest
my
memories?
brother was quite he's quite elder to me. I mean, there's a big age difference because he's the eldest in my family and I'm the youngest. So he's always treated me like his son. He's always been protective about me, always correcting me, always seeing that I get the best. And so it took a long time for me to get close to him in that sense of being a friend with him. And so I had two father figures in my house.
You've also mentioned that you had a little bit of distance with your father, just out of respect.
Well, that was normal at that period. I mean, it was something which was because my dad came from a small town, and you know, the society and the culture and the way people thought and lived in small towns was very different from city life. Because city changes your whole lifestyle, and so they always like he was brought up by his dad, and he was always strict with him. So I guess it naturally came into him. My dad wasn't strict, but he was never a friend while growing up. You know, he was very busy. He was always at work. There was just few hours that I would get to see him. That would also be late at night, and or you know early in the morning, and so it was always like that. But I wasn't scared. I was not. It was more of respect. Yeah, you grow up, you get confused between respect and being scared. You know, it's like because everybody would say, "Oh, I'm scared of my father." I would say, "Yeah, I'm scared of my father." But it wasn't being scared. It was just a respect, and we didn't know how to communicate that easily with our parents at that point. But slowly, it's changed now. You know, the whole thing is reversed now. Like they've grown older, they've become like so vulnerable, and you know, you have to look after them. And but then it's just things change. That's a circle of life. You know?
Yeah, as it is. Let's take you back to your first film, Barsat, which got you a Filmfare Award for the best debut. Uh, what was that feeling like? And did you
Well,
feel
I
like
guess, you know, I was just excited with life because it took so many years for my film to actually start and get over. It started early, but it got delayed for many other reasons. And then finally, when it got made, uh, I guess I was the only new actor that had come out, so I got the award. There was no competition at that point.
but that
So,
makes it easier.
well, I never really took that award that seriously. I mean, it was,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I was in hospital at that point because I'd broken my leg while shooting my first film.
Yeah.
And I had to get a second surgery done on my right leg. And when the awards were given, they came to the hospital to give it to me. And I was not even there at the award function. But it's nice to be recognized. It's nice to be given that kind of encouragement. You know, awards kind of give you an encouragement. But it's the audiences that have kept me going all these years.
Yeah.
You know, my audiences, my fans, the love they have for my family, the belief they have in me as an actor. I think that's one of the strongest factors that gives you the strength. You know, one of the most important things is that love. And I feel whatever I am today is because of their love
Yeah.
and respect for my family that gives me the energy, the strength to be more focused
Yeah.
and to work harder and to not let them down. And that's what it is.
And then life unfolded in an amazing way. You did amazing films. Soldier is my favorite.
Okay.
um, how did that kind of impact you? Did you feel like I'm a star? Did you feel
No, I
like
never did. Actually, you know, I always believe there's space for everyone in the industry. I was never into that competition because I always felt that everybody deserves to achieve and to have successful films.
Yeah.
I never thought, oh, why did that person have a hit? I should be doing more hits. I never thought of, doing films that become hits. I never thought like that. I always believed that I'm happy in my space. Let them be happy. I had nothing, I felt happy when people did well. So I was never into the competitive world. I never thought of myself as a star, you know, because there's one thing when I was growing up, I used to see when my dad would be home, there would be these 6 people around him, making him believe that he lived, he's larger than life, even though he's at home sitting normal. And, but my dad never got carried away. And I saw these people how they can influence you to think and lose your mind.
Yeah.
Make you think like, oh, you're God or something. So I never let success make me feel that way, because I'd seen it with my own eyes. A lot of actors who get like that. And I said, I can't be that way, And so because success comes and goes, 1 minute it's with you, 1 minute it's not there. It's just the love always remains of your fans. So you have to not go bigger or become like a megalomaniac or something and think you're the best thing in this world. You are good. You have been blessed. Everybody, I feel, is blessed and given a gift by God. We all have something special in us. It's just that when we discover it, we understand it better, and we work harder to use that gift in the best means and best way we can.
So, and at that point in time, you realize and acknowledge that this is what I'm good at, and this is
Well,
what
I never really thought of anything else.
Yeah.
I always wanted to be an actor. I love movies. I loved so many actors growing up, seeing them perform. I can't name every one of them, but I used to get lost while watching movies. It's a beautiful medium of entertainment. And I love my dad's work, and I've seen so many of his films. He's done different genres. And I didn't even have to see other actors to see different kinds of films, because my dad did so many different kinds of films. So I always wanted to be an actor, and I think it's just the most amazing profession to be in.
So you worked with a lot of actresses, Preeti Zinta, Rani Mukherjee, Aishwarya Rai. Any memories that you remember from that time? Hi guys, I hope you're enjoying the podcast so far. Do let us know what you think down in the comments. We always read what you have to say. And on that note, I want to fill you in on something really exciting that we're building at Humans of Bombay. So you guys know, we've mastered the art of storytelling for the past 10 years. And you have trusted us to tell your story. So now it's time for us to empower you. So me, along with 5 other experts, have curated a course for just that, where you learn how to tell your story in different settings. So it's called How to Tell Your Story, and the course is live now. You can check it down below in the link or even on the pop-up here. And with that, let's get back to the podcast. So you worked with a lot of actresses, Preeti Zinta, Rani Mukherjee, Aishwarya Rai. Any memories that you remember from that time?
I mean, I still remember it was the beginning of my career, and shooting with Aishwarya, it was just the start, and we had this big Mahorat at the Leela Kempinski. It used to be called the Leela Kempinski, and I was really nervous. They had made up this little set, and I was wearing a green suit, I think, or I don't know what I was wearing.
We'll find the photo, hopefully.
It was fun working with Aishwarya. I mean, sadly, we never did many films together. And then I was working with Shekhar. I mean, at the point, Shekhar was supposed to direct my film, and I used to keep going to his office. Things kept getting delayed, and then Shekhar announced that he was doing another film called Tara Rampam or something. And he was casting for that, and there were a lot of people coming to do their auditions. So they were just, I got very friendly with the whole team, Shakers, and then suddenly they say, एक लड़की आई थी, Preeti Zinta. I said, क्या? Preeti Zinta? I said, can you show me her audition? And I was like, she's really good. So I just signed Soldier, and I had signed a couple of films, 3 films at the same time before I even finished my first film. So I told Abbas Bhai Muslim Bhai, I said, they were looking for a new girl. So I said, why don't you check her out? And they also found her very amazing. She had just done a little ad, and she was always so bubbly and in that little ad. So she suited the character. And luckily, she was a part of that film. Though Dil Se was her first film which released, but this was the first film she signed, I think.
Yeah.
And then Rani again. I mean, if I'm close to anyone in the sense as friends, it's Rani and Preeti, because Rani I did 2 films with, and she's a sweetheart. I mean, her mom, her dad, we were shooting for Bichu, and she would get homemade food, and we used to eat. I love Bengali food, so she used to get really nice fish and things like that. And again, whenever I get close to someone, I give them a name somehow, and started calling her Date Futia. Because Amir's film had just released, and there was a character in that, Date Futia, and she's not very tall, so but she would call me Bobada and all that. So it was fun, it was great fun working with Rani. We did 2 films, both were hits. One was Bichu, one was Badal.
Yeah.
And that's my relationship with them. And then obviously every actor I've worked with, I've really got along with everyone. I've never had an issue with anyone, So these are the memories working with them.
So paint me a picture of what your life was like at that point. You said that, of course you were partying, you were having fun.
No, my partying starts. I mean, I didn't party much. I partied just before I met my wife. I think I met my wife because I used to party so much. I never used to play cards. I hate gambling. But there was a time when I'd broken my leg and I was still on crutches, and so someone invited me to a card party, and I just ended up going there and saw my wife sitting there, and that was it. I met her and chased her for a month, I think, and that was it. We decided to get married, and then, I mean, those are nicer days. They were simpler days, I think. Now there's there's so much population. There's so many things around you that kids nowadays can't really enjoy themselves. They're so, confused about where to do, what to do, where to go, and maybe I feel that way. Maybe for them it's normal because
we don't know otherwise.
Yeah, they don't know otherwise, and I think even social media kind of takes away your privacy to a great level, so you can't be yourself. Especially for kids from the film industry.
Yeah. So tell me more about your love story with your wife. There's very little about it actually online.
Well, I was just lucky. I'm honestly telling you, I've been very lucky when it came to family relationships, and she's the best thing that happened to me. She's been my strength. I think she is my biggest. She's my backbone, and I honestly feel that what I've been through in my journey, if it was someone else, they would have left me by now, because being in this industry is not easy, and you have your breakdowns, you have the things I went through. I think she stood by me through all that. She believed in me, and she always believed in me. I never realized what I was all about, because no one can tell you. I mean, they can tell you, but you can never believe what they say. You feel that they're just trying to make you feel better. But now I think about it, and I've been married for almost 28 years now, I think. So she's amazing. She takes care of. I always tell her, you have 3 boys. I'm the oldest. Do I behave like the youngest?
But how did you know she was the one?
I just knew.
Yeah.
It's something that just happens, I mean, everybody looks for that one person in their lives. And I just knew she was. Things could have gone wrong. I mean, no relationship is perfect.
Yeah.
Things can go wrong with anyone's relationship. And it's just, every relationship believes in respect and trust for each other. And then it's all about, just being each other's friends. It's like, because love, it's like the first time you have a chocolate, it's the tastiest, and then you keep having it and the taste goes. That's what every love story is all about. But it's all about companionship. It's all about, whenever it's your weakest moment or the happiest moment, who do you want to be with? That counts, I think.
And what do you think has made your marriage last? Because we live in a world where relationships are so conflicted, right? There's so many names given to relationships.
I know, but I never really read about others or try to understand other people's issues. Because what happens is they kind of, if you read or, I hate gossiping. That's one thing I hate is gossiping. I never do. And so for me, I just wanted to live in my own world. I always try to just be in this world of mine where I am happy. There's nothing from outside that comes in conflicts with my world. And that's how I've always lived, you know. So I never try to gauge or try to understand the formula for what's happening in my life.
Yeah.
It just happened.
Yeah. You've said many times that she was your strength when you went through what you did. So, what was that period like?
Oh, it was, I was into self-pity and, you know, I was just, and self-pity is the worst thing. I mean, self-pity is just what worse can happen and you start pitying yourself, you know. I think that's the worst emotion when you get into that. And I started giving up, I started becoming reckless, I started becoming self-destructive. And, but she stood by me. And now I'm back in my life and everything is falling in place.
Yeah.
And I'm just grateful for every moment I spend. And every time I'm on the set, I always thank God, thank my fans that I'm still working. I'm still on location, on sets, and working. You know. I just cherish every moment being on set.
Have you ever tried to pinpoint what made the self-pity stem? And I ask this because so many people are in that position now.
You know, it's because it's easy for human beings are defected. Human beings are so weak. You know, they keep blaming others for what happens to them. I think it's like a curse in many ways because we always tend to feel that, you know, we blame others. We never see what's wrong with us. We never see what are the steps we need to take as an individual to move forward in life. You know, there are obstacles. Nothing is going to be hunky-dory or nothing is going to be like perfectly the way you want it. You know, you got to just keep believing in yourself and, you know, manifest. You know, because manifesting, I feel, gives you the strength. You might not achieve exactly what you want, but you'll move towards what you want. You know?
Yeah.
And you have to be focused. You can't be lazy about things, you know. So I think a lot of, especially, I mean, maybe I can speak more about my industry, but it happens in every industry.
Yeah.
It happens in every profession where you're struggling to reach where you want to. And, but there's so many people there who are fighters, who, you know, believe it and they have the fire. You can't let that fire, you know, die.
Did you ever absorb yourself in the why of it? You know, because there was a time, like you said, before your first film even released, there were 3 films, and then the period where there weren't films. Did you ever question?
You know, there was
why?
always films, but it was frustrating because they were not films what I wanted to do. And somewhere that made me start giving up because I'm like, why am I getting this rubbish? Why am I getting stuff? I mean, to work, I can work, but what satisfaction am I getting out of it?
Yeah.
I think somewhere that made me go in the wrong direction and I started not looking so great. You know, my performances were not happening. And I just was frustrated. So I think less about myself, you know. You can never think less about yourself. Only you can make yourself feel less about yourself. Everyone out there is trying to make you feel less about yourself, but they don't have the power till you let them let you feel that way, you know.
Yeah.
Because we all, as I said earlier, we all are blessed and gifted with some special gift by God, and it's something we just need to believe in.
Yeah.
You know.
You spoke about, you know, this period and alcoholism on Coffee with Karan when you were recently there. Is it something that you look back and think it still shaped your journey today, right? Like that phase.
I mean, yeah, I mean, you can sit back and regret about everything you've done wrong, but how do you learn from your mistakes?
Yeah.
You know, you cannot learn otherwise.
Yeah.
You know, it's just you had to go through all those things and you had to come out of it. And only you can do it. Only you can, no one can hold your hand and get you out of things. You have to stop doing things. And I think that's how it is. I can't tell the audiences or my fans or people who are going through that phase how to get out of it. Because they all know how to get out of it. Everybody knows how to get out of it, I feel.
Yeah.
It's just that you have to believe in yourself to let that get activated in your mind and do it.
What was that switch for you?
Because everybody feels weak. Everybody says, no, I can't. Everybody thinks it's so difficult. You're lost. You can't come out of it. But that's such a strong feeling that it's like you're drowning, and people let themselves drown. And I think everybody can swim out of it. And I think there are small things here and there which kind of make you realize, suddenly they turn on a switch in your head and you're like, I can do it.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it was everybody around me in my house was so worried about me, and they would keep encouraging me, but they were so sad in their eyes looking at me why I was torturing myself, and but they couldn't help me beyond comforting me with their words, But then when I started realizing myself as to I'm a father, I have kids, what kind of an example, what kind of father figure am I, what kind of, how my kids going to look up to me, because I looked up to my dad and he inspired me. And am I going to inspire my kids if I'm going to be this way? I think thinking about my kids, just something snapped in me, and I just started working harder and trying to, do my best with, whatever I can, with whatever talent I have.
Putting the effort out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think Race 3 turned it around?
I think it all turned around for me when I started believing in myself. I think it started with Poster Boys.
Okay.
It didn't do well, but it was a very different genre. I played a small town boy. I mean, a small town person who was a teacher, and working with Shreyas Talpade was it was a learning lesson for me because I learned a lot from him as an actor. And I think trying to be different was my first step, but it failed. But I still didn't give up because I was trying to do different stuff. I didn't want to do commercial kind of glamorous kind of roles. But then I was thinking of ways how the new generation will know me, because the new generation didn't know of Bobby Deol. They might have heard of him here and there, but never seen any work of his. And then, I mean, Salman is like one of the nicest persons I know in this industry. And he always believed in me. And I remember I'd grown my beard and I was like trying to do something different. And it wasn't working out because no one was backing my project. And I was playing Celebrity Cricket League, and he met me. He says, "Why have you kept a beard? You're such a good-looking boy. You should just shave this beard off and start working out and things like that." I said, I will, Mamu." And he says, when I was not working and I didn't have the success, I climbed onto your brother's back and on Sanjay Dutt's back, and I moved forward. So then I said, why don't you let me climb onto your back? So no, definitely one day I'll work with you. And then one day out of the blue, he just called and said, will you remove your shirt? So I knew if I do a film with Salman, he has got the biggest fan following. I knew that a lot of people will again notice this person called Bobby Deol, and they'll know of him.
Yeah.
And so slowly I did that, and people started noticing me, and because of that film, I got Houseful 4, and Akshay again is a big star. So I knew again a lot of people will see the film. So that happened. But what really changed for me, as an actor, as personally, what I really enjoyed most was working on the OTT platform.
Yeah.
Because it gave me the joy of doing characters which I wasn't getting. Because I was not I really was trying to avoid doing commercial films because the characters are not defined properly. So I got to do Class of 83.
Yeah.
And I was so happy when when the team came to narrate it to me, and I was like, wow, I've been trying to do something different, and this is interesting, and this is what I want to do to change my whole persona and my whole, how people look at me. I want to get out of that. And then suddenly while I was shooting for that film, Prakash ji, I got a call from Prakash ji's office, and I mean, Shruti Mahajan, she's a casting agent, so she called me because she said, Prakash ji wants to meet you, and there's something he wants to do on the web series. I said, oh, great! I've been wanting to work with Prakash ji since years. I remember meeting him when I was dubbing for Gupt at BR Studios, and he was like, like one day we work together. I said, yes, definitely. I was just starting my career then, and went to his office, and I'm sitting there. He said, I want to narrate something to you. I'll give you the idea. So he's giving me the narration, and I thought I would be playing the cop's character, because typically they would give me the cop's character, which Darshan played.
Yeah.
And so I said, great. He says, I want you to play the Baba. I'm like, what? I'm like, wow. I mean, here I'm trying so hard to do something different, and Prakash ji, who's such an amazing director, who's, he's just amazing. I've always loved his movies. He's always made movies about social subjects. And I was like, he's just given it to me in my hands. And that's how it began, And it was challenging. But it was, I've been trying, what gives me joy is to be playing characters which are out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
Because I want to be in that position so that I fight it out and come out and try to do my best. Yeah. If you give easy characters to play, I think I've done that so many of my films that I was just bored of that.
Yeah.
So Love Host, then Class of 83 released, but just 1 week after Class of 83, Ashram came and became a huge success. But I wish people had seen Class of 83 because that was the beginning of everything for me. Then I did Love Hostel, again, a different character. So I've been very lucky. If you really see the looks or the characters I've played in the last, Love Hostel, Class of 83 was different, Ashram was different, Love Hostel was different. Then Animal was again, Animal, I mean, look at Sandeep. I mean, things were just falling in place because, I mean, I get a message from Sandeep Reddy Vanga saying, hi, I'm Sandeep Reddy Vanga. I want to meet you for a film. I'm like, is it really him?
Am I being pranked?
Yeah. So I found out and it was really him. So I called him. I said, yeah, let's meet. I really wanted to meet him as soon as possible because I really loved his films. And he came and he showed me a picture during my Celebrity Cricket League time, and he said, I want you because I love this expression of yours. I'm like, my God. I mean, during my times when I was out of work, I was playing cricket, and that picture has come handy for me, So can you imagine that, guys?
Yeah.
He's just a genius. He just thought of me. Prakash, you just thought of me. And I think God has been really kind, showering with me with so much love. And
did the role in Animal challenge you?
It did, but that's what I just said. I mean, I wanted to play characters which were out of my comfort zone. And while he was narrating, he says, I think this character has to be mute. I'm like, oh no. My strength is my voice, but why not? He'll just make me do something different. Maybe it gets something best out of me. So that's how it happened. And I waited for a year and a half to shoot for the film. I was like really waiting because you've seen the film. It's 3 hours, 40 minutes or 3.5 hours. And they were shooting with Ranbir for so long. There was so much of work they had to do with him that I'm like, are they going to change their mind? Suddenly they say, we don't require you. Those thoughts came in my mind, but Sandeep Reddy is a sweetheart.
Yeah.
And then finally I learned sign language for that. And it was fun. It was exciting. I never imagined it to be such a huge success, but I always had a gut feeling about the film. But I never realized, I never thought that it'd just become a cult film,
Yeah.
Will change the norms of filmmaking.
Yeah. What was the set like with Ranbir Kapoor?
Oh, he's amazing. He's such a huge star and he's so down to earth. Love working with him. I shot with him for like 12 days, but I spent a week practicing fight sequences. And I've seen him since he was a kid. And I've always been fond of him, but I finally interacted with him. And, he's such a lovely guy. And it was just great working with him. We really bonded, And was so happy. I mean, I used to look into his eyes while I was shooting for the sequence, and I could, because Sandeep would play the song while we would shoot the fight sequence, and I could see the lyrics, the emotions in his eyes, and I was like, this guy is just amazing, an actor, and as a person, I got to know him, and he's just wonderful. I'm a big fan of his. I mean, there are a lot of good actors, but I've always been a big fan of Ranbir and Alia. Seriously.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I just love their work. I mean, the others also are very good, but you know how it is, you get your favorites.
Yeah.
And so I was like, it was just nice to work with him.
And it truly catapulted into you being Lord Bobby all of a sudden on the internet. And it just, I think, I don't know, the few scenes were so iconic that you said it right? Like it's a cult film and you were an integral part, like so many scenes that I can think of.
Yeah, it's his, Sandeep, he's just a genius. He's just something. He's so different from other directors I've worked with. Not because the film became a hit. It's just that he is so different.
Yeah.
He knows exactly the pulse of every character he's got in his movie. This character will do something like this. This character will do something like this. While shooting, he would make us do one or two things here and there, and it would just work. Like even in the action sequence, especially in the action sequence when I was fighting with him, he suddenly comes and says, "Okay, now you punch." Bobby punches Ranbir and he falls on top of his back. And he lights a cigarette.
Yeah. That was even in the trailer.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm just saying, it was like he thought of it. Wow. All of a sudden on location. And even me zipping my pants. And there was a kiss before I go up to him, I kiss him on his cheek, but which was not kept because I don't know. I mean, I wish they had kept that, where you feel that he feels for him and yet he has chosen what he wants to do. But it came in the emotions in that sequence. Yeah. And so he's just a genius. Would love to work with him again. Seriously, if any director I really want to work with again would be Sandeep.
You seem so overwhelmed with the reaction, right? Because there are so many clips of the paps and you're just like so like emotional.
Yeah, because see, every actor waits for that moment in their life. We each and every actor in our industry is waiting for that moment, for getting that appreciation, getting that love, getting that success. It's so magical. It's so unreal. It's like I still feel I'm living in a dream till today. I feel I'm dreaming. Like, is this really happening with me?
Yeah.
Because it's like just, I don't know how to describe it, but you don't want to lose this feeling. You don't want to lose all this. And so it becomes even more special because this is what you've been waiting for all your life, whole career, So yeah, I do get emotional. I think the Deols are very emotional. We get emotional very easily.
And how were the celebrations at home? Your family was with you. And
I know, my brother kept saying, "Come on, we have to celebrate." But there was so much happening, and I had just lost my mother-in-law. I think it was her blessings that has given me this kind of love. She was someone who was very special to me, and I lost her just a few months before my film came out. So I think there's too much happening, and we did celebrate. We sat together, we had to get it. I mean, our family is big enough to it looked like a party because my brothers and his kids, and me and my kids, and my wife, and my bhabhi, and my cousin sister, my mom and dad, my chachi, we all lived together, and a few friends came.
Yeah.
And we just sat together and had some good food and just celebrated.
The best way there is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And looking forward, you have a film coming out.
Yes. I mean, I'm enjoying working in the South. I mean, they're so creatively, they're just so different and so...
What does Kanguva mean?
I think it means something to do with fire.
To do with fire, okay.
Yeah, so that's Surya's character in the film. I can't speak much about it because you know how it is.
Yeah,
You can't really
of
speak
course.
about anything now till the film comes out, and then they let me speak about it. But I was excited to work with Surya. I'm a big fan of his. It was like, seriously, when they offered that film to me, I didn't know much about the director Shiva, but I knew Surya, and I really wanted to do a film in the South with Surya. And then being on the set, working with Shiva, he's such a sweetheart. He's like a teddy bear. I call him a teddy bear. It was fun doing that film, So I'm really excited and looking forward to coming out.
Is Soldier 2 on the cards?
No, it's just a rumor.
Oh, it's a rumor.
Yeah.
Oh,
it should have come out many years back.
Yeah, with the same cast.
A little too late for it to come out now.
Okay, we go to the next segment, the last one before we take the last question. It's called 90s Nostalgia. So I'll just say a line and whatever you think about it.
Okay.
The ultimate 90s style statement?
Baggy pants. I think that was... I'm so happy they're back.
Yeah, they're back. Your favorite 90s movie?
90s movie? My favorite would be my first film, Barsat.
A 90s song you can play on repeat?
Humko Sirf Tumse Pyar Hai.
A memorable event or milestone from the 90s?
The first time I faced the camera. Everything happened in the 90s for me. So
it's
it was the first time
iconic.
I was so nervous, and Shekhar was directing me, and that's before he went and did Bandit Queen. And then Raj Santoshi came and said, but my first ever Mahurat of my film was on my birthday on 27 January. Wow. I forgot the year though. And my grandfather was still alive. And it was the most special moment for me.
Your favorite actor from the 90s?
My dad, my brother.
Stays in the family.
Yeah, I don't have to look outside my family.
The 90s trend you secretly loved?
I love the trend. Versace versus just come out with their styling, and I love their whole patterns of the silk shirts they were making at that point.
Yeah.
And it's come back into fashion now.
It'll keep coming back.
Yeah, that's why keep your clothes. They come back.
Thank you so much. I have a last question for you. Your journey has been incredible, and your comeback has been even more incredible. So what advice would you give people who are not going through the best phase in their life?
The advice I can give is have self-belief. Only you can turn around things for yourself if you start looking at things in a more positive manner. Don't be lazy. Don't pity yourself. Be focused. The focus will only come when you stop pitying yourself and being lazy. Stop being lazy and just believe. We all have been gifted. We all have a special gift in us, which we just need to discover. So that's all I can say. It's only in your hands. No one's going to hold your hands and make you move forward. Only you can do it.
Thank you so much, and good luck with everything, and you deserve every bit of it. Thank you.
Thanks.
If you like this episode, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that bell icon. Thank you all for being the best community, and I'll see you soon.